Hey everybody, Poker Dad here. Time for a different type of video. This is something that I haven't done yet. So I just had played pretty lengthy global poker session tonight. I think it was about 4 hours or so. Finished up about $100, so good session. Right now, this month, the month is almost over. This video is on May 15th, 2018. I'm up about the 5 buy-ins for the month. About a 3 win rate, close to a 3 win rate. So pretty happy with my play. Definitely been a little up and down, but my play overall has been good. I've lost some unlucky all-ins throughout the month, but overall solid month, and I am hopeful that we can finish off strong. I got a lot of grinding. I plan on doing this next week because I'm off 4 days next week. So I plan to get in about a good 29 hours worth of play this next week for a total of 90 hours this month, which is the most I've ever played in a month. Pretty excited about that. Anyway, what I wanted to do in this video is I just wanted to show 5 hands from my most recent sessions, a couple of big losing hands, a couple of big winning hands, and just wanted to go through them, and and just for the fun of it, or just posting some global poker hands from my session. Maybe they might not be as exciting or that exciting, but whatever. Just wanted to make a video for the fun of it because they're fun to do. Anyway, here as you can see, this one I am in the big blind with Jack Jack. And we get a limp, of course. And here we get a pretty hefty 3-bet. This is actually kind of pretty hefty pre-flop raise here, which actually in global poker, NL50, this is pretty normal. The $2.25 raise is the pot size raise. Usually you'll see regs doing this, so this guy right here must definitely be a reg. And I do, of course, 3-bet him pretty big from the big blind. This is a 4x bet here. Approximately, I think 2.25 times 4 is 9, so I made it a little bit more. And of course I do get called. Yes, I remember this hand. Alright, so here we are. So now this is something interesting, and when I looked over this hand I realized this now. As you'll see, I bet here $11, and this is definitely a mistake here. This player has $41.45, and there's $20.75 in the pot. So if you do the math, 41.45 divided by 20.75, it's a 1.9 SPR pot. I should have just shoved all in with top pair here, versus stack. Which, I mean, it's just an SPR pot, so this is something I definitely should have shoved here. But instead, I just bet about half pot, so it's definitely a mistake. And the turn comes a 2 of hearts, which is pretty much a dud here. And now I finally do decide to shove. So that's why it's a mistake, because, shoving on a turn, I mean, basically I'm doing, what I should have done on the flop. And yet what I did is I let them see a free card. Which definitely was a mistake, because if they have something like pocket twos, now they have a set of twos. Maybe pocket twos wouldn't have called this, or maybe they would have, But maybe I can fold out some kind of draws or something like that. But anyway, that's just the bottom line. Is I definitely, especially a hand as vulnerable as Jack Jack, definitely want to be shoving there with top pair on the flop. And obviously, since I'm showing you this hand, they do call. And they show 6-5 offsuit, 6-5 offsuit. So they have a pair of sixes here. So definitely they got it in pretty bad. I mean, they have an open-ended straight draw, and they have third pair. So you could pretty much say this is a pretty bad call by them. And you wonder if they would have called this here on the flop as well. However, they magically get a 9 here on the river and actually beat me. So that was definitely kind of a cooler. I was not very happy about this loss. This was pretty early on in the session too. So, and then I went and I took a look at his hand, and I was like, oh, let's go and see what like. At least if it was 6-5 suited, like, okay, that not bad. But it was 6-5 offsuit, and when you think about it, they opened raised Pretty sure that it was an open raise. That they did the open raise. So yeah, they open a raise 6-5 offsuit, which is insane. First of all, like it wouldn't be a limp; it would be a fold in that spot. And then they call my three bet. It was just really weird. I found it very strange, but look, without players like this, it's hard to make money. So, once in a while they're going to have to win, and I can tell you that as the session went on, the money did start funneling back to me. So, let's take a look at the next hand. Next hand here, I have Ace Ace, and I am in the middle position basically because we're five-handed, and of course I do bump it up here, and we get a just min raise. Then not it's not even a min raise. I mean, what is this raise? You see this at times at Global Poker, but you can see this player is a recreational player. They have $35.57, so they're short or stacked. And this raise is like, I don't even know what this raise really should represent. But players will just do this weird kind of small raise. Maybe they clicked the half pot button and made a raise that way. It's a weird three bet, definitely. But of course, I'm going to four bet them here, and this player does call. And so I'd say I mean, this is definitely a pretty good board here. Pretty dry. I would expect a c bet here and probably get a fold unless this player is going to call me with hands like I mean, king king, queen queen, those sorts of hands probably should call. I mean, so a player like this, they could definitely have a set of nines. Is quite possible here. If I bet tens, maybe maybe jacks call and don't five bet me or shove here on a short stack. But yeah, so I put out a simple half pot bet here. I'm not really too worried about it. In fact, I think this is actually a little bit smaller than the half pot bet. Not really sure why I did this bet here. I think I at least should do half pot. And I do get called here. So, I mean, getting called here makes me kind of feel like they don't have a set here. No set of threes, no set of sevens, no set of nines. Two pairs, kind of unlikely suited. There aren't, there's only two combos of suited 9-7, and obviously, so, I think they're probably calling with an overpair, maybe just some other kind of pair they'd be calling with. They could call it maybe even a pair of eights here is quite possible, and maybe a player like this is min betting, min raising, min three betting a pair of eights, and then calling my four bet because they're not a good player. So definitely got to keep in mind that they're going to have kind of a big range. They could also have here some kind of backdoor flush draw. Maybe they got something like King Jack or something like that. I don't know. So anyway, a five comes out here, and I think we're still in pretty good shape here. A straight would be 6-8. So if they had 6-8, they have a straight. Possibly another potential set here with fives. But I mean, I feel like it's just kind of unlikely. But again, a recreational player, they could have fives. So I do about a 2/3 pot bet here, which I think is perfectly fine. And we get a shove all in. So this was definitely a tough spot for me here because I'm getting just like incredible odds. In fact, I could tell you right now. I mean, the pot odds I'm getting for this here. If I do, I'm going to do the calculation off screen here. So my bet was $13, and I needed to call 27.44, and the total pot was 22.25. So, well, no, that's not correct. Hang on, 27.44 plus 22.25. I'm sorry, 49.69. So the pot odds are 22.5. I mean, I gotta call this. It's like I feel like I just really have to call this here. But it's like, what are they raising with here? Maybe also she's raising with a flush draw here is possible. But still with the aces, I feel like I can call it because I can hit an ace on the river, and if they do have a set, I still can get an ace here. So I think it's okay to call this here because I feel like it's either a set or like a bluff, and maybe she has enough bluffs in her range here that she could actually be bluffing here. So I think that I definitely need to call it, and just hope that she doesn't have a set here. So I do call it, and plus I'm getting great. It's still good odds. It's 4-1. So I don't have to be right so often to make this call. And what does she show? And she shows Jack Jack, so that's great. So makes sense. I did say that Jack Jack is definitely a hand that she could possibly have. And a 4 comes out, so I take this one down. This actually reminds me, I gotta find, there's a couple other weird multi-way pot situations I want to show you guys too, actually. So I'm gonna do that in this video also. But here now is the third hand here. Here we have Queen Queen from the cutoff. So we, of course, open raise Queen Queen. And we get a call from the small blind, which definitely will tell you this is a recreational player, because you're never going to see a reg calling from small blind. So, and if they're a reg, they're definitely a bad reg, because you should never be calling from small blind. So here we get a pretty wet board, especially for somebody who's calling from the small blind here. They could definitely be calling with hands like 7-8 suited, or maybe even just hands like 3-2 suited. Would you be shocked? No, but they could also have hands like 4-5 and 5-6 as well. So it's not the best board for me here. But of course, when they check, I'm going to obviously throw out a c-bet here with the queens. And I throw out about a 2/3 pot bet here. And they raise me. So I'm definitely a little concerned about this raise here. Definitely thinking it has to be something probably like 2-pair or better. But still, I can't fold. I can't fold top pair queens here. So we're going to have to definitely call it. So next we get here is a 6. So, this is not terrible for me here, having the queens. If they had definitely something like 2-pair, 5-4, then we're okay. Obviously, they could still, of course, have a straight with 7-8. They bet here, and I decided to just call it. I'm not ready to commit to folding to this hand yet. Definitely feeling a little bit nervous about it, and if she triple barrels, if she bets again here after her raise on the flop and bets again here on the river, I'll definitely have a reason to fold this hand and assume that she has 2-pair or better. Because she could even have a full house here. She can have a straight here. She could have 2-pair here. She could have sets. A ton of good hands here. River comes out a 9, so if she does have 7-8, now she even has a better straight here. But she checks. So this is great news for me. Really, the only play here, of course, is going to be checking back. If I bet here, I'm going to put myself in just the world of hurt, because the only thing she's calling here is with 2-pair better. So I check back. And she shows 5-3. So she had an open-ended straight draw here, which is what she raised on the flop, which I don't really feel like that's a great raise. She does have at least a pair of 5s. I don't think it's a great raise there. Even though it is an open-ended straight draw, she does pair the board as well, so it's not that terrible. Interesting that she then bets the turn as well. I guess she's trying to take initiative, but look, we're trying to. It's weird because we're sitting here, we're trying to justify a play and try and figure out the logic of a player who was flatting 5-3 offsuit in a small blind, which of course is just a horrendous call in every way. So luckily we end up, of course, taking it down very nicely. And comes the next hand here. Here we have King Queen offsuit in the middle position because we are 5-handed. We open raise and we get a call from the cutoff and a call from the button. and we get a call from the big blind. So we're going four ways here. Okay, so yes, I remember this hand. Check. I check, which is the right thing to do here. Two aces, king, but you know, and we get checks all around. So yeah, I remember I had a lot going on when this hand was going on, and I wasn't 100% concentrating on this particular table at the time. Of course, as you know, if you look at my past videos, I play four tables, so I remember this hand I really wasn't concentrated too much on it at the time with being multi-way. Um, but I definitely wasn't going to be betting here. Queen comes out, and I decide to check again. And here we get a half pot bet from this guy. Um, so I could definitely think that this guy's half pot betting with a queen. And so of course I'm definitely going to call it with my king here, thinking that it is quite possible that I could have the best hand here. Of course he could also have a hand like Jack 10 and might have hit his straight as well, which is always possible. And here we get the king. So now I have the full house, and I do decide to check it here, just being out of position, not having the initiative, hoping this guy bets. And if he doesn't bet, look, I feel like I'm going to probably take it down my full house here. He decides to go with a pot-sized bet here. So now I'm thinking, well, it's quite possible that he could just have a worse king, and this is going to be a chop. So I feel like there's really no way I can fold this here. I don't really believe he has an ace, because I feel like if he has an ace, he really, in a multi-way pot, I mean, he really should have bet. He really should have bet on the flop. So I definitely am going to call this here, and expect to have a chop unless he's, you know, has a queen, and I don't know. But as you can see, he has ace-7 offsuit, and he just didn't bet the flop. So I was definitely surprised to see this one here, and kind of disappointed I lost it. But you know, I feel like I definitely made the right play here. It was definitely the right call here. All right, here comes the next hand, and I got two more to show you. Some weird stuff that happened in multi-way pots. Here we got Jack here from the big blind, and we get a limp here, so recreational player, and another limp, and another limp, and I of course am going to bump it up here with the limpers. Let's see, it was $2, $2.53, yeah, $3 because we had three limpers. And let's see, we get two callers out of the limpers. You see one super short stack guy right here. And they're both short stack, but again, multi-way pot, you know, SPR is really not coming into play here. So 5-5-7, we're definitely going to be betting with our top pair and get any draws to fold out, and you know, maybe get some aces to fold out too would be nice. We get a call here. Now we get this guy shoving, which is definitely interesting in the multi-way pot. I mean, he could definitely have a full house because, you know, maybe sevens are limping and limp calling. Could have, I mean, he could have any pair, of course. Could have a flush draw. It's quite possible. Maybe enough flush draw is shoving here too. You know, so it's kind of a definitely a weird play here for him to be raising all in. But I mean, it's something that obviously we have to call. We have top pair here. It's only, you know, we get great odds here to call. Plus, you still got this guy here as well, which you expect this guy probably to fold. So we're definitely gonna call it, and this guy folds here. And what did he have? He had 8-9 offsuit, so he shoved with a gut shot. Okay. And ace comes out, and the queen comes out. So yeah, I think I pulled this hand out because I just thought it was kind of funny that he shoved with a gut shot. So it's just a bluff gone wrong, and luckily he didn't suck out on us, which is nice. And we took down the pot. So I'm going to pause the video for a second. I just want to pull up two more hands to show you that were just pretty wild multi-way action hands. All right, so these were just two annoying hands that I remember from this session, and I definitely was not very happy with them. I was not very happy with how they played out, and this is like kind of towards like the beginning of my session, and the beginning of my session, it really didn't start off very well. I finished up about $100, but there was one point I was down $75 in the session, and this was like one of these hands that like just drove me nuts because I'm just trying to figure out what the hell people are doing, and I'm scratching my head, and I'm wondering, should I ever fold? Ever? Of course, I feel like I made the right play, but I'll show you. So here we get a bunch of limpers, and of course I just check here in the big blind with King 5 suited. And I'm going to say, I feel like I made the right play, all right? But still, it was a little tilting. So here we get two pair, which is amazing, of course. Love that when you... It's great when you get something like that when you check in the big blind, and you get a nice hand to start. So we get checks. So of course I'm going to bet here. I always want to bet in a multi-way pot if I have top pair, two pair, anything like that. I want to bet in those spots. This way then you can kind of get rid of some players who might want to chase things. But again, on global poker, people love chasing things in global poker. It's the world of the chasers. So as you can see, two players come in. Now there's a 4, so not really too worried about that. Now throw in a little bit of a bigger bet than the bet I had before. Let's get rid of some of these people who might want to chase flushes, But we actually get 2 callers. So we go 3-way to the river. And unfortunately, the river is a 6 of hearts. So this is a pretty just terrible card. Pretty terrible card because, now you get straights that might have made it there with 7-8 or the good old 2-3. You never know, these people. But more likely 7-8. And of course, most importantly, you get in the flushes that definitely could have gotten there. And I mean, it's very likely that obviously one of these 2 players is probably going to have a flush here. I don't have any hearts, so I'm definitely thinking that at least maybe these guys have one of these guys have hit their draw. So I do decide to check it here multi-way. At this point, I'm definitely not going to be betting because if I bet, I feel like I'm probably just going to get called by a flush. And this player here goes in a little bit under half pot. And this player calls. So, I mean, at this point, you got 2 players in on this super... you got this on this flush board here. And I don't think there's really any way I could ever make this call. And it kind of sucks because I flopped 2 pair, but I had to fold it out. And you will see what they had and why I was tilted. So this person had a pair of jacks. They're the one that bet. And this person had a pair of kings. So nobody had a heart. And this guy wins with a pair of kings. And I would have taken down a really nice pot here. But again, I believe I made the correct play. I think that this was the right play. Folding here in a multi-way pot on a flush board with players that I have to think could possibly be chasing a flush. Now, as it turns out, one called with second pair. This one called with top pair. His call not terrible. This one's call on the turn, I don't know why they called, because at this point, when you are in a multi-way pot, if there's a bet here again on the turn in a multi-way pot, you just got to fold those jacks. So I think that's a really bad call by this person. And the bet was even worse because she has no hearts, so she's not blocking any hearts at all. And she has second pair. So just really, really a bad bet. And for him, I I don't even know if this is a great call either, because again, he's not blocking any hearts either. So it's just such a weird hand, the way the hand played out. And of course, it sucks I folded the best hand here, But I believe my fold was correct, and I believe they both played it poorly. So it is what it is. And here it is, the last hand of the video. Another one now. This one's even more tilting, as you will see. So here I open, of course, from the big blind with ace queen offsuit, and we get a call here from the small blind. So of course we know this is a bad player. Only bad players are going to be doing that. And here we get a 3-bet. This guy is a reg. I remember this player is a reg. And of course we make the call there. And he decides to call as well. So this bad player not only is flatting in the small blind and not 3-betting, but then he is now calling this 3-bet. So very questionable here what this player could possibly be doing. Keep that in mind. So really good flop. You know, obviously our only concern is going to be that this guy has 2-pair, or maybe even a set of kings is always quite possible here, or even a set of aces. But it's more unlikely a set of aces because we're blocking an ace. But he could always have ace king here, and of course a set of kings as well. So this player does check. And he bets half pot. And I'm definitely not going to fold here with top pair. Great kicker. Sure, he could have 2-pair with ace king here. He could have a set of kings here. But I still think it's something that we have to bet. Maybe he has, maybe he just has like a suited ace or something like that also that he could be betting here as well. And he's got top pair. He's betting, which would definitely be the correct play here. So there are a lot of aces that he could have that we're definitely beating. Ace jack, any suited ace, obviously, we'd be beating here. So we call, of course, and he calls as well. I mean, hands that he could definitely have. Maybe he has a flush draw here is quite possible. He could also have any kind of suited ace or something like that, or some kind of ace as well. Not too worried about him. I feel like, whatever he has, we're probably ahead of. And we could be ahead of him here. Again, he could also have a set of kings as well. Quite possible. He could be on a draw too if he's playing multi-way pots that way. Some players will play multi-way pots that way. Some players won't. I've actually started adding draws into my multi-way pot play. So here we get a king here. Don't love the king, but the one good thing about the king here is it makes it less likely that he has kings. Of course, he still could have ace king, which now he would have a full house. And ace king is definitely something that would 3-bet us. 3-bet us in pre-flop. This player calls. He checks here. That's interesting. I decide to check too. Thinking about how this hand played out. Well, let's see now. Let me show you what happens. Now when he checks here, what's he checking with? I mean, he just saw us all call. So, I mean, could he be slow playing a full house here? Well, maybe not, because I guess it makes it less likely that he has a king here. More likely he has an ace. Less likely he has a king. Less likely that he has a king. So, and he probably doesn't have a full house because he's betting a full house here in a multi-way pot. Especially the way the betting has been going, he can think he can get a full house, that he can get value from a full house. So when I look at this closer, there's actually a very good chance that we're ahead here with our ace queen. Ooh boy! All right. Because this guy also, I mean, this guy could have a king also. So It's possible he has a king. Well, he checks again. He goes all in. You know what? See, now that when I think about it and looking at this hand a lot slower here, um, I folded. But you know, I should have definitely called this here. I should have called it because when I really think about it, there's really no chance. It's very unlikely that he has a king. So if he has an ace, he either has an ace queen or he has a worse ace, and he had like some kind of suited ace here. Um, so I really should have called this. I really should have called this all in. This actually was a really bad fold, and you will see he calls, and he ends up with he has ace jack here, and he did have a suited ace with ace six. So I would have won this. I would have look at this pot. I would have won, and I would have called too. You know, this was tilting for me because I saw it and I was like, oh my god, I would have had the best hand. And now when I look at this hand even closer, very bad fold for me because it's just so unlikely that he has a king. He's three betting hands. I mean, the hands he would be three betting would be like king queen suited. King queen suited isn't, ace king. Ace king is not checking here. King queen suited is not checking here. All those kings are not checking here on that turn, and ace king is not. So the only thing that's checking here are worse aces and hands that have missed. And once all this checking happens, this guy's like, yeah, okay, I got this. I got this. I'm going to win this here. So folding the ace queen actually was really a bad play. I could have won a freaking monster pot, and yeah. So and this guy of all things takes it down. So actually he was really upset afterwards in chat. He was complaining about this guy doing that. But yeah, bad job on the hand reading by me in the multi-way pot. But lesson learned, of course. And this stuff is a lot easier to see, of course, when you're looking at it in slow motion like this. So actually, I'm kind of glad I pulled up this hand. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, something a little different. If you guys like this video, let me know. I'll definitely do more of these following some global poker sessions when I have time. So I think it was actually a really interesting video. So do me a favor, please comment below if you like this video and want to see more videos like this. And subscribe, of course. I would really appreciate it. And until next time, Poker Dad.